Cheers, my dears. Why do you write? He asked. Why do you breathe? She replied. That's a short piece I once wrote, and it describes my personal connection to writing the best way. It's short, simple, precise, and on point. For me, writing feels like breathing. And in times like these, breathing can feel especially hard. With this crisis going on, with all the isolation and social distancing having an impact on us, it might cause a feeling of pressure in our chest area because there's so many emotions inside of us that we don't really know how to cope with. And there's so many people out there doing amazing work, however possible. Even through the distance, there's so many content creators that give away free online classes and courses, trying to support the people with entertainment, education, fitness activities. So I thought, how can I contribute? How can I help during this time of crisis? And because writing is my biggest passion, I came up with an idea. It's a little writing exercise, but it's for everybody. You don't need to be a writer or a poet or a published author to do this. All you need is pen and paper. Of course, you can also use your phone or your computer if you prefer typing, but I recommend doing it with pen and paper to include your body in this exercise. So you don't need any special skills. You don't need to have written a million poems before, something like that. You just need a little bit of time and pen and paper. It's an exercise that aims at creating room for fresh air, positive thoughts, and to write all these burning emotions and thoughts of insecurity, fear, and uncertainty off your chest so that you can breathe properly again. I will guide you through this exercise, and it starts with a little warm-up, and then I will present 3 exercises to you that we're gonna do, and I hope it helps you and that something valuable and worthwhile is in it for you. I'm happy that you're here. Welcome to this little course called Write It Off Your Chest. And let's get started. So, warm-up. The warm-up consists more or less of 3 parts, and the first one is called Name It. And it's a little exercise that has kind of a correlation to psychological approaches and maybe a little bit Eastern philosophy if you want to. So I invite you to follow this imagination game now. Imagine you get a telephone call from a number that you don't know or from a suppressed number. So you take the phone call and you say, hello. And the person on the other side just starts talking like, hi, how are you doing? What you been up to? And you don't recognize the voice, like directly. So you're like, oh my God, who is this? I should know this. This person is talking to me as if they knew me, but I don't get a connection to them, right? So your mind starts picking up all the information that you need. Okay, is it a female voice? Is it a male voice? Who could it be? Do I remember this number? From whom do I not have a saved number in my phone? Who changed their phone number recently, And all these thought processes start running in your mind, but you don't get a connection to this person. So you're like, oh my God, this person talks as if they knew me. And it's a bit rude if I ask now, but once they stop, you ask, sorry, who is it? It's me, Nancy. What do you feel in that moment? Relief. It's like, Nancy, it's you. Do you have a new number? what just happened? You know, why do I not have your new number? Oh, it's just my work phone. Ah, okay, so I'm going to save your number now. Thank you so much. Actually, this is a very real example that just happened to me the other day. And the thing is, our emotions are the same way. Sometimes you might have the feeling like you get up in the morning and it's like, okay, I feel weird. Something is off, but I can't name it, you know? Maybe you just read it from, maybe you just read it from your own reactions, you know? Maybe you just go through your day and somebody asks you something, and through your reaction, you realize, I'm somehow off. This is not my normal reaction to this. Or maybe you get snappy towards your partner or a family member and you don't really know why. And here's the thing. So you have a kind of emotion inside of you, but you don't really know what it is. So take a moment. If that happens, take a moment and try to name it. So it's like, remember, it's like having someone on the telephone not knowing who it is. So you can even start a guessing game. It's like, Stacy, is that you? Nope. Okay. Angela? Nope. Nancy? Yeah, it's me, you know? And if you do the same with your emotions, it can help you to name them. And psychologically seen and also philosophically seen, it's easier to cope with things once they have a name. So you feel weird and you don't really have a name for this emotion. Try it. Am I angry? Am I feeling angry right now? No. Okay. Am I disappointed? Maybe. Do I feel fear? Yes, that's it. That's it. I feel fear. The moment it has a name, it's easier for you to cope with it. Because then you can ask further questions. You know, if you don't know who's on the phone, you might ask, how's your dog? Because you think it's Stacy and Stacy has a dog, but it's Nancy and Nancy doesn't have a dog. Nancy has a cat. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work that way. So if you think you feel angry, but actually you feel fear, then you're not going to cope with this emotion in a certain manner, but in a manner that you would deal with anger. So the moment it has a name, it gets easier to cope with it. Then you can ask further questions like, okay, I feel fear, but what causes this feeling? Okay, I fear the future. Okay, why? Because I don't know what's going to happen next. Job-wise or relationship-wise, friendship-wise, or whatever it is that you're coping with at this very moment, or even during this crisis. Many people feel fearful towards losing their job, or they are afraid that family members might get sick, or whatever it is. But this is an exercise. Take your time right now, go inside yourself, analyze your emotions, but don't take the whole accumulation at once. Pick one and name it. Write it down. That's the first warm-up. Name it, write it down, and if you want to, make notes concerning the further questions, like, I feel disappointed. Okay, towards whom? Do I feel disappointment towards myself? Did I disappoint myself? Or did someone else disappoint me, and with which action? Try it. That's the first warm-up. Second part of the first warm-up, so to say. I don't know whether you realized, but I tried to say, I feel angry. I feel disappointed. I didn't succeed every time, I know. But here's why. And I first encountered this when I watched a video from Timber Hawkeye when he presented his book, Buddhist Boot Camp, to a group of people. Absolutely recommendable book. I get not paid for this advertising, but it's really a good book. So if you have time to read now and if you enjoy reading, read Buddhist Boot Camp. It's great. And in this video, he explains why there is a difference between saying I am angry and I feel angry. Because angry or anger is an emotion. Emotions are temporary. I am is a definition, you know, this is my hand, this is a shirt. It's a definition. But if you say I am angry, it means you define yourself by a temporary emotion. Let that sink in for a few seconds. It was an absolute eye-opener for me, because it was like, oh my God, this is so true, because we're so taught and we grew up with this. It's totally normal for us to say, I am angry, I am tired, I am upset. I mean, we do this with more positive emotions, if you want to. I put this in quotation marks because every emotion just is, and every emotion is temporary. So the question is, are there positive and negative emotions? But you get what I'm saying. So we're so taught to say it in that manner, but what we don't think about is that our subconscious, on a subconscious level, we define ourselves by a temporary emotion. So try this. It's a little exercise. So you just wrote down emotions, either as a noun or as adjectives, as emotional adjectives like anger and angry. Try it. Say, I am angry, and say, I feel angry. Does this feel different to you? You can add, I feel angry at the moment, or I feel afraid at the moment, whichever emotion you picked. Just try it. That's the second part of the warm-up. Take the emotions from your list and try saying, I am, insert emotional adjective, and I feel, insert emotional adjective. Try it. Third warm-up, or second bigger warm-up if you want to. It's a little imagination game. So please stay open and imagine the following. We're going to a museum, okay? A big building, we go into a museum. But there's a catch. There's just one way. So once you enter, there's just one way out. You have to cross all the rooms to the exit. You cannot go back, okay? So we enter the museum. We go through the first room, you know, you see all the items displayed there. You read the little notes, the information, you soak in all the information that's in the room. You can pick any topic that you like, whether it's Roman times or whatever you're interested in. Pick what you like. So we go through this first room, you soak up all the information, everything is fine. Come to the second room, we do the same thing. We watch at the items displayed, we read the information, we stop here and there because we want to soak in more information, we want to experience what we're seeing, what we're reading. We want to store this information, we're thinking about it, we connect it with information already stored in our heads, you know? Take a little look here and there. We enter the third room and we start doing the same thing as we did before, but suddenly there's a weird smell. Okay, we don't know where it comes from, doesn't matter. We go on doing what we did and why we came here. We go to the fourth room and we try doing the same thing as we did before, but this bad odor gets stronger. So the bad smell gets stronger. What happens to our breathing? It gets flatter, and we try not to inhale as deeply, right? Okay, let's just make it through this room. We come to the fifth room, and this bad smell, this really, really bad odor gets up to a level of being unbearable. Like, it's really, really bad. What are you going to do? What are we doing now? We're going to start breathing even flatter. We're going to hold our breath. Just inhale as little as possible, trying to make it through the next room. Remember, you can't go back. You need to go on. So you walk through the sixth room and it doesn't get better. Seventh room doesn't get better, but you see the exit sign. So you just have to make it through the last room. So you hold your breath. We're holding our breath. We're getting a bit faster. We kick the door open and we're out in the open under free sky, fresh air. What's the first thing that you do? Some might have said inhale. We exhale. That's what we do, right? We held our breath for so long. So the first thing that we do when we come back into fresh air, we exhale. Little question in between. How many information of the last rooms did you store in your mind? As much as in the first two rooms? Think about it for a second. I don't think you stored as much information in your mind as you did in the first rooms, where the bad odor wasn't that strong or wasn't even there at all. And the same might happen to emotions. So we ran through the museum, we made it through the bad odor, and we exhale. And that's exactly what we're going to do in the first writing exercise now. So, exercise number 1. Remember, you held your breath and now you exhale. Yeah? What did you hold back, bottle up, and suppress? Like, not in the imagination game, but concerning the emotions. What is it? And remember the warm-up. Name it. Name it. Each and every little thing. I give you a little imagination aid for this one. So imagine you're invited to a party and you're absolutely excited, and you have been excited for quite a while to go to this party, okay? So you got dressed up, and really happy. You enter the room and it's packed with people. The first face that you see is a person that you don't particularly like. So you look around through the room and you try to figure out, whom do I know? Whom do I not know? Next face is also someone that you're not particularly fond of. Name them. This is Julia, my really strenuous colleague. That's Peter, the guy that treated my best friend bad, in a bad manner. Whatever it is, name them. So it's the same with the emotions, right? So if you go inside and you ask yourself the question, what did I hold back and what did I suppress when I held my breath that gave me this feeling of pressure in my chest? Imagine you go through this room. Which emotion is it that you see, that you encounter, that you're not particularly fond of? Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it disappointment? Is it insecurity? Is it uncertainty? Whatever it is, name it. Write it down, please. And in whichever manner. So you take your piece of paper. You can make a list if you want to. You can work with colors, but if you want to, but it's not necessary. You can make a list or just scribble them randomly on your page. It doesn't matter. However you feel comfortable. Just write it down. Just jot it down. And because I think it's a bit critical to do it on your phone or on your computer, but there's an option to do that too. But if you do it on paper, you can do it the way you want. It can be a list or just randomly. Okay? So take your time and do that. Second exercise. So you just exhaled, right? You came out to fresh air, you exhaled. What's the next thing that we do? We inhale deeply, right? Because we're in fresh air again. Woo! So I give you an imagination aid for this one again. So back to the party that you were so excited about. You enter the room, it's packed with people, and you already saw the people that you don't particularly like. Go back and rewind in your mind, because there might have been people that you just overlooked because you were so focused on the people that you don't like that you missed the people that you actually like. So go back and try to find faces that you like. Oh, there's Nancy, my friend that I just had a telephone call with. Ooh, look, there's Dan. I haven't talked to him in ages. Oh my God, need to chat to him. Emotion-wise, ooh, I just encountered gratitude. Ooh, I encountered strength. Let's chat with them. Okay? Again, name them. Please take a second piece of paper, not the same paper as you exhaled. You take a new paper for the inhaling, and again, write it down, name it as a list, randomly, as you like. So, and for the people that come into the room and that don't encounter people that they like, I have a little aid too. If there's no one in the room that you really like, whom would you like to be at the party? Whom would you have invited? You know, maybe Nancy isn't there, but you would like her to be there. Write it down. Maybe you can't find security and stability, but actually you would love them to be there. Write it down. So either the ones that you already encountered or the ones that you would like to invite to the party. Okay? Take your time, write it down. So now you have two papers, right? What to do with it now? We exhaled on the one paper and we inhaled on the other paper. What are we going to do with it now? Well, there are different approaches. So depending on what kind of person you are, I have different approaches how you can deal with it right now. So some people say, now on my list of exhaling, I wrote down all the negative things, but they are written down, which means now they exist, now they are real. I kind of just manifested them through the process of writing. But actually, I want to get rid of them, right? So there's a really simple solution to that. Rip it apart in the smallest pieces possible and throw it away. This way, what once existed and what you wrote into existence, you just destroy. It doesn't exist anymore. And you're left with the other paper with the positive things that you want to invite and that you want to inhale. You can also burn it or, put it in the shredder, however you like it. But that way, it's not existent anymore. So now you can take the list with the positive things and you can manifest it. If you want to, you can take Post-its and write the words from this list on Post-its and put them up in your apartment. So every time you brush your teeth, you encounter self-confidence. Every time you brew a coffee, you meet gratitude. Every time you, go to the washing machine, you find love. That's one version. You can also roll it together and put it into the soil of a plant and see what happens. Maybe it grows better. Or you can just pin it somewhere or take a photo of it, or you can write it down in a beautiful handwriting, take a photo of it, use it as your wallpaper. So every time you touch your phone, you're confronted with this and it reminds you to inhale. That's one approach. I'm going to present other approaches to you. The other approach is connected to the warm-up. So you can practice I am and I feel with these two lists if you want to. So for instance, you can take the list with the negative emotions and apply I feel to this list and I am to the positive list. Give you an example, I can say, I feel frightened, I am brave. That way you counterbalance the bad, temporary emotion with a definition of yourself with a positive emotional attribute. That's another approach that you might want to take. Just try it if you like to. And how does that feel for you? So you're always opposing a negative, temporary emotion with something from your positive list applied to I am. Okay? Try this if you like to. Another approach, it is a bit similar, it's opposing as well, but it's more wrapping it into a story. So you also oppose things from the negative list with things from the positive list, but in a different manner. Let me give you an example. Sorry if I have to look down, my notes are here. So for instance, you can write something like, I sailed through a storm and I encountered a monster of fear. So I met it with compassion and love, and it transformed into compassionate caution. I kept on sailing, and suddenly the wind of pain and the rain of disappointment got so harsh that it hit my face. So I kneeled down and searched for my harpoon and shot strength and resilience up into the sky. And the clouds cleared and made space for the sun, which nurtured me with warmth and abundance. That's a bit more advanced, let's say, but you don't have to be a professional writer, but maybe it's a bit more appealing to the writers of you. I don't know. Basically, these are just examples. You can come up with your own ideas. It doesn't matter whether you end up writing a song about it, doing spoken word poetry, whether you rap about it, whether you write a poem, prose, or whether you just stick to the opposing game of I feel versus I am, or whether you just want to rip it all apart and burn it somewhere or flush it down the toilet, you know. It's up to you. You're the captain of the ship. You already exhaled. You already did the work to name everything, which makes it easier for you to cope with it. You encountered all of these people that you dislike, and you decide who you invite to your party. You can decide what you want to inhale. This writing exercise is just an aid. In which manner you do it is up to you, your life, your decision. But as said, you don't have to be a professional writer. If you are and it ends up being a beautiful poem, that's nice. If it ends up being a great song, well, let's listen to that, you know? Also, the writing style doesn't matter. As long as you have this feeling of exhaling everything and inhaling fresh air, and you have this feeling of relief, in whichever manner you get there and you achieve that, it's the right way. I hope the approaches and the little exercises helped you. Maybe you want to try them again. This video will stay here so you can rewatch it if you need it again. Also, if you feel like there's something valuable in it and a friend of you might need something like that, please remember, sharing is caring. Send it to your friend. Also, if you have any questions or difficulties with some of the exercises, let me know. You can drop a comment below or use the contact form, send me an email or a DM on Instagram, and I will try to help. And if you have feedback, same thing, down in the comments, send me a message. Or if it ends up being a great poem or prose or whatever you make out of it, please remember to tag me if you publish it. So if you share something from this exercise on Instagram or Facebook, please tag me. I would love to read what you wrote and what you came up with. And other than that, I hope it helped you. And if it did, let me know. If it did, share it with a friend. And if you want to stay up to date, as I'm planning more blog posts for this time of crisis, this exercise is not just for the crisis. You can use it whenever you need it, but especially right now, I'm planning more blog posts. There's already a random ramblings post if you're searching for other inspirations, what you can do during quarantine and self-isolation. Just scroll down. Maybe there's something in it for you too. And if you want to stay up to date, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter so that you get informed whenever there's something new, or that you get a little summary of what's up there. And yeah, I hope it helped you. And please stay safe and sound and healthy. Take care of yourself and of others. And I hope to see you soon.